Good evening, Free Enterprise fans and rando heads in general. We have booted up the old time machine and gone back a little bit. Celebrating the 3-year anniversary, tonight's community race is featuring the round of 16 flags from the Zima Zone 1 tournament. The first big open tournament that the Free Enterprise community put on. And yeah, things have changed quite a bit since then. Flory, how do you feel about objectives?
It's going to be kind of weird to actually have the crystal as a item that we can actually get instead of having to traverse the world and back. This is going to be a good 2 hours of the two of us being able to throw old man hands in the air and say, back in the day when we had to do Zima Zone, we didn't get to do all these awesome objectives. We had to get the crystal as a starting item and figure out what to do there.
That was always some of the best panic as well. Starting item crystal, and everyone's brains would just break. Like, it was a completely different ball game. Admittedly now, I am personally a fan of some of the higher completion setups we have going. But it's fun to, revisit the history time to time.
Yeah, we definitely, there's definitely some differences. Though that fancy rejoin feature that y'all have been enjoying, we're not going to have that here. You got to make your decision and make it now. We also are going to have C5. Well, the equivalent of what was then, I think, C3. But anyway, we only got 5 distinct characters. Those are the only 5 characters we're going to see. We'll see them multiple times, but there's only going to be 5. So it could make the opening 30 minutes very interesting if we run into quite a bit of dupes and get to see some of these runners here deal with some of the issues we have to deal with when you've got like a 3-character hook route, fingers crossed. Why don't you tell us about some of these runners we got here?
Yeah, tonight the featured restreamees are Jeeba Zero, Harumph, Tybalt, and Asuka424. So we're going to see how they handle these flags. I'm not sure how many, if any of them, were active in the community back then. So, it may be a little bit of a rude awakening. On the bright side, though, Sand Ruby for the starting item. We are going to have at least access to maybe a 3rd character, and a gated character at that. An Edge or a Fu here will blast the seed wide open.
Yeah, the sooner you can find all the characters, it's really useful information, not just to kind of figure out how it is you want to plan out the seed. It also allows you to sell a bunch of things in your inventory. Those spears, those ninja weapons. If you see 5 characters and you don't see an Edge, you can sell that with Samane and be really well off. Especially since with S Standard, when we get to that point, there's going to be a whole lot of things to sell. As we see, Harumph is going to immediately give us that character information right now.
Yeah, and this, of course, can just completely blow the seed open. It could also just be a duplicate. We could get absolutely nothing from this. Speak of the devil, though, that is a ninja.
Well, that just makes the very beginning of this seed a whole lot easier. Edge comes in at level 25, has a whole lot of good gear. Only thing you really want to see from Edge is weapons at some point in time, but as far as the first few checks we got here, we are good to go. Like, between that and having Tella to be able to cast Exit out of the early dungeons, we are all set to go. Now, I believe we are rocking T Standard, right?
I believe so. Those flags are on display up in the chat a little bit. Yes, we have T Standard and S Standard. All the standards. But, we talk about going back in time, and things are a little different. The economy was rebalanced. When the game first came out, it wasn't really clear just how game-breaking a lot of the J items are and how they kind of eliminate your need for white mages sometime altogether. So the shops here actually will make this flag set, I dare say, a little more difficult than it was when originally played.
Yeah, completely agree. Just as an example, in the old version of the shops, there were 3 different types of hourglasses for sale. They could all be in the overworld, and they went for 1, 2, or 3,000 respectively. Whereas now, they're only in gated shops, at least on standard, and they cost 6,000 a piece. So it was very common to have a stack of 10 hourglasses, and you're like, Dark Imps, pshaw, we're good to go there.
Absolutely. We do see Harumph here making that Ordeals play. Makes a ton of sense in this situation. We had a starting Cecil and a starting Tella, and both of them really don't come online until you complete Ordeals. And with Edge to carry us up the mountain, again, very forgiving seed thus far. I wonder if the shoe will drop at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the runners are going to deal with vanilla agility being a thing and having Cecil forced into a party. It's not as big a deal for the immediate future because Edge, he's a fast dude. And even though DKC is actually surprisingly fast, there's not a lot of bosses that are going to give us too much issues as far as ordeals go. But that's going to be going forward. Cecil is our anchor, so prioritizing maybe finding a curse string might not be a bad idea. We'll see if our runners decide to tackle a whole bunch of shops, because in S standard, that curse string can be pretty much anywhere. So, speaking of shopping, there's something else we're missing that we might see a lot of shopping, right?
I am uncertain of exactly what you mean by that. Do you mind?
Starter kits.
Oh, yeah, no starter kit. So that is one of the risks you take diving into these multi-boss dungeons. If there's anything that really wants you to have, notably Star Veils, if there is a back attack Wyvern up here, something along those lines where you have to have the wall spell or source of it to really make your way through, we could see a quick retreat being executed back down the mountain.
Yeah, a wise Dusty once told me going up Mount Ordeals without Star Veils is just asking for trouble. So, fortunately, Elements is one of those where with the right party makeup, we could get some use out of that. But, I mean, Edge is not generally going to care, but there is one. We want to make sure that we have our damage stacked pretty well. I want to say I saw our runners loot a Boreas, so that's going to help. But this right here, when Rubicant shows up, Magic is pretty good in this spot, so let's see how Harumph handles this.
I hope that Jeebus here, although having picked up the Edge, is not making the Ordeals play, actually seeking a different key item location, heading into Antlion Cave. I wonder if this was motivated at all by the loot he found in the basement of Damsian. He found a black sword, the Deathbringer, the ultimate weapon for Dark Knight Cecil, and actually gives him a decent bit of utility, and could even be used to do some cheeky grinds now that we understand how to make those death procs activate a little better.
Yeah, that's a good point. It works, in a similar fashion to utilizing the Assassin Dagger. If you know your ATB stuff, and if you watch a lot of Jeebus's play, he is one who will utilize that quite a bit. So I think you're onto something there. That could be a point where if we get an opportunity, especially if we get like early underground access without doing ordeals, when you're like, hey, I want to, try to take on maybe something underground or maybe even something on the moon, and utilize that tech with the swoon procs. It could totally be useful here. It's also it's such a hard balance sometimes when you have crystal as a key item, because everything that you do that isn't checking for a key item feels like you could be losing time. Because you're like, well, this person just got the crystal right now, so what am I going to do?
Yeah. And interestingly enough, that Edge we have, Asuka's looting in the Watery Pass has actually given some dividends for him. He managed to find a boomerang and one of each of the elemental claws. So if we do run into any... Oh my god! Well, I'm gonna say if we run into, anyone with notable elemental weaknesses, Edge will be able to capitalize on those for her. That is the crystal on Ordeals. And panic mode is initiated for Harumph at this point.
It's at least you could tell yourself, well, I have to find access to Zeramus, right? So maybe Darkness Crystal is somewhere kind of rude and I don't have go mode right away, but it's going to be especially spicy if we see our runners get the pass early pass and early crystal. We might see some pretty interesting Z strats if that's the case.
Now, I will note that we do have that vanilla agility in place, and if we don't find a curse string to pair on our Cecil, executing, the 1200 HP strats, means of killing Zeromus by doing a ton of reflect strats and nerfing every big bang, not as readily available because that relies on your team achieving, certain agility thresholds, and we have this speedy Paladin Cecil here throwing that game off if a curse ring doesn't pop up somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, Tybalt has already shown us character for being Rydia, not a terribly fast character as well. So if you're going to pull off something like that, you would kind of need to be planning that way ahead of time, which kind of lends credence to the thought of Jeebus trying to maybe put off that Ordeals check, although it has the crystal now, so maybe not so much. But pretty much you need Edge and Kane. Like, those are about the only two characters that you can reliably get fast enough in comparison to Cecil to be RA1 and execute that. But it's really tricky to pull off. Like, if you just get like 5k, 10k experience on Cecil, and he gains that initial like 10 level boost,
We have a question from the chat from Solaris. Was Vanilla Agility original to Free Enterprise, or did it non-vanilla come as an option later? And that is correct. Agility Agnostic was added, as Conkers has answered in the chat, in version 3. Up until that point, things were a lot trickier, especially in the Zima Zone 1 round of 16 flags, if a Cecil was forced into your party. He was your anchor no matter what, and, deciding whether to let him inspect the ground or become a vital fighting part was a dilemma. I will note another thing, by the way. Of course, an addition, I believe in version 4, was the Japanese drop and steal tables. But those are not turned on, so our Edge here cannot steal sirens in lower Babel from the trap chests. So although you may think, oh, if we get a pass and, way underground, we've got a pretty decent grind here, that's not on the table either. Sirens may be for sale somewhere. They will cost a lot more than they did in Zima Zone 1, though. I would really be looking with this team, especially with that Baby Iridia. I would love a D-Machine grind. We got the Tela, we can get a ton of levels, and we can just power overwhelming everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's probably what we're looking at doing here. And you see Tybalt, who kept that Rydia down for his first fight. That's probably, it would seem to be the best idea. It's just one of those things where if you know somebody else in the race can pull off a lower level strat, and what if they found a cursed ring? Do I want to spend a whole bunch of time looting for a cursed ring? It's pretty tricky. But for now, first things first, we got to find that access to Zeromus. So we need to find
absolutely.
the crystal or the pass. I can't imagine seeing any of the runners doing too much as far as the main question we're going to see as far as their end game composition goes is, are they leaving Rydia on the ground?
Yeah, which, the thing is, you may want to leave her down for the sake of slingshotting, but we're not even guaranteed to find a 5th character before it's Z-time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the slingshot only goes into effect if you have a full 5 party members. And given that we already found the crystal, the chances of us finding way to Zeromus before we get access to every single character check is actually quite low. So, and it could be just one of those characters. So, yeah, this might be a 4-character party. Slingshot, it might not even be on the table. That's a very good point.
Chiba's going to show us the reward from defending Evelyn, and that is an Excalibur. That Paladin Cecil, I do not think, will be used as a slow agility anchor tonight. That is the 2nd strongest weapon in the game, a powerhouse, choose through Zeromuses. I think that we're going to have some very interesting anchor setups when we do get to the final boss.
Yeah, it's really hard to turn down a Holy Sword Cecil, especially if we happen to find an Adamant armor. Adamants are on the table, and boy, the damage Cecil can put out with the Adamant armor is absolutely insane. So it's really hard to turn that down. At the same time, if we run into a required Luca cave, which could make things pretty rude, as if you've seen some of the old ZZ1 videos, there were definitely times where that sealed cave had caused an issue or two. But at this point in time, we haven't seen, in fact, we don't even have underground access yet. Well, picked up the bearing key, so I was going to check that out. That could be more character information, but right now we kind of want to see what's our way underground.
Absolutely. Just another thought on that topic is, there are other Zeromus strats that we've not seen in a long time, because some of them were kind of incumbent upon having an Adamant armor. One fun thing that we may get to see, I would not object to a return of Adamant, Drain Venger, Cecil strats. That is another option. You get his agility set up to be, 42, a little above 42. Start with that Drain Sword, flip over to the Avenger, and you can just walk away. You can just go pour yourself a drink, I'm going to have some tea. Cecil, you kill the Ceromus. I'll be back for my dot done in a moment.
Shout out to Nier, who actually pulled this off in, I believe, ZZ1. That was something else. So, yeah, that is totally on the table.
I believe he actually just held A at one point. I don't think he even had the Avenger. I think he had a cane with a Drain Sword and just held A, and I think he was watching a baseball game at the time. I have a vague recollection of this.
That's when you put like a weight on your controller and then you just walk away.
Hey, tool assisted, not allowed.
That's true. That's like the last thing I think I did that for was like Final Fantasy VIII and drawing magic, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hold A and like read a comic or something.
Thinking back to your mention of the sealed cave, luckily we have gotten Wyvern out of the pool. It did end up being on Ordeals. It's in that crystal chamber, but our edge is fast enough to get 2 swings off before the Mega Nuke comes out, as long as, the party is arranged correctly. So that's one dangerous fight for vanilla agility off the table.
Yeah, and for many runners, that is the fight that would prevent you from wanting to get Cecil any kind of agility. Most of the other fights kind of required like the exact wrong boss to be in the exact wrong spot. Like if you run into Magus Sisters down there, that could be a problem.
Well, they're off the table too. They were for
no.
You gotta give me a new boss.
Rubicant would be kind of rude there too. We haven't seen. Oh wait, did he just fall off the mountain? No, that was Elements.
Yeah, Ruby could be bad. Golbez used to be threatening until everyone realized the strats from the vanilla speedrun, which of course the vanilla speedrunners already knew them, and that's just slap a different status on your team, and all of a sudden the paralysis effect doesn't matter. Little trickier if you don't have a source of reflect, but again, Starvels, even on this flag set, you will find Starvels in an ungated shop, so even he's not too big of a threat. Oh, pardon me, Mega Sisters are by Icon Spot. I mixed up my screens. Thank you, chat, for correcting me. My bad. Oh yeah, it was Odin up at the Bull, correct?
There you go. Oh, well, yeah. Odin's not too bad. Odin's definitely one of those bosses where there's a few spots where you don't want to see him, but for the most part, especially with an edge, if you have those elemental claws, not a huge deal. Harumph doing one of the things I like to see. If you're not comfortable with the equipment you have, or you just know that you need to finance a whole lot of shopping because we don't have a starter kit, taking the extra looting in Baron Castle, I mean, it's there. It's a lot of chests. It's surprised you don't see it more often, to be honest.
Well, this is standard, of course, so there's not ranking. But when we were on those weighted flag sets, T Wildish and T Pro, really above average loot there. I'm a fan of it. Speaking of Ruby, the leg is on the throne. I do like also, by the way, Harumph, a little fearless with this, and we know because this is, of course, be safe, not be unsafe. Beyonce? No. There is a way underground that does not require fighting Wyvern, Val, Golbez, or the Odin spot. So Harumph is seen everywhere else already, I believe, and thus knows this is not a. This won't be. It couldn't be a really nasty surprise boss. It's someone in the reasonable pool, so to speak.
Yeah, Ruby here can be kind of rude. You got to be a little bit careful because the magic in this particular spot is pretty good. So you saw those Fire 2 counters doing 100 damage, and that's quite a bit. That glare is going to absolutely wipe anyone who doesn't have an adamant armor. But one Boreas pretty much gets the job done. Harumph is definitely not part of the Ruby Hive and is going to get his key item right now.
Speaking of cursed rings, Asuka has found them. They are for sale in Mysidia. Mysidia's armor shop has one. So if there is an important cause for adjusting Cecil's agility, that'll get you there. And that Dwarf Axe in the weapon shop can get you another 5 points of it. So if you do want to slow your Cecil down, Mysidia has you covered.
Get any agility adjusting items with vanilla agility on it. Super valuable. So ninja hats, dwarf axes, specially cursed rings. And Mysidia is usually one of the armor shops that you would see runners go. It's not like, say, the armor shop on Agart, which might as well be on Mars, because who wants to go through all those NPCs? So we'll see. I would imagine you get a good chunk of runners that will do that, but then I feel like we're seeing a whole lot of runners that are kind of just going and not even doing any shopping. I want to say I remember watching ZZ1 races. The first 10 minutes were pretty much shopping percent.
Ooh, and we do have a hook to guide us underground, barring a... did anyone check the Vanilla Mist Cave? Maybe there's a Demus there with a Magma Key, but it looks like we do get a hook route.
I believe Judas did check the Mist Cave.
Hey, chat's got us covered, yeah.
There you go. So yeah, hook route, another one of the spots that without any kind of agility manipulation can definitely make your day a whole lot worse. Without going into too much context about my favorite spot in the game, the King Queen Evelyn spot, they are very, very, very fast. And not too much you can do to get your team to be as fast in regards to having Cecil there, unless you find that cursed ring. So Asuka's, what's the word I'm looking for? Going through the shopping to find that cursed ring is totally going to pay off for her. Especially if we find a boss that definitely requires some kind of speed manipulation.
Absolutely. Nice thing about the team that we're rocking though, is that with regard to that King Queen Open spot, anything that's magical in nature, not too much of a threat. It's those physicals that tear through you. But we do have a Paladin Cecil. Cover strats are on the table. Tella has Blink before we even head up ordeals. So we have a decent bit of mitigation here. And also, if we have, a couple of spare weapons to throw with Edge, we can tear through that 6,000 HP without too much trouble. But there are definitely bosses that will just punch your way through the team there. Nastiest option would probably be Dark Knight Cecil. Pain Man at that spot is no joke.
Yeah, that would be pretty rude, because you generally want to have two characters that can survive a hit with a fast DKC, and that's going to do about 900 if I remember correctly, or somewhere in that neighborhood. It's going to do a whole lot. So
yeah, Cecil and Edge should be able to get the necessary HP with a little bit of grinding, but it may be a situation where rushing in headlong does result in a little hiccup or a little speed bump.
Yeah, I'll also be interested to see if the runners decide, depending on what we find in the Evelyn shop, which can be super valuable. We'll get to that when our runners get there. But if we don't find hourglasses, those ogres, cover helps a lot. Cover will do a lot of work. But those ogres, if the board AI is online, can really kind of ruin your day.
So, here's the next question. When you get underground, you will have, of course, we now know our way underground. It is that hook route. When we get there, there are two freebies on the table immediately. There is a freebie and the vanilla rat tail chest, and then you can also work your way around and come back to Sheila 1. Either of those have the Darkness Crystal or Pass. We're already in go mode. There are chains that could be a little nastier there. But this, again, just depending on who these bosses are at the hook route, and if they, speed bump, this could end up being a very fast anniversary celebration.
Yeah, it's one of those things about randomizers in particular, but free enterprise especially, in that you have the option of, do you want to take a standard route or do you want to take a gamble and maybe do something a little off the beaten path? Getting the early crystal, I think all our runners are well aware of the consequence at this point that you're one item away. So I kind of think we will see a lot of the freebie checking initially, but you'd also really like to have a fifth character. So Dwarf Castle giving you the character that might be number 5 is a pretty, it's a pretty nice option as well. We might get character 5 in Evelyn Cave. We could see Fu here. That would definitely change things for the better for our runners. Maybe not so much for those of us wanting to see a little bit of struggle. But yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I think you'll see mostly across the board, check the freebies first. You might see a little shopping just because on S standard, being able to get those sirens, those Bacchae, and those hourglasses, that's kind of a big deal. So, sometimes you go straight to Tomra, right? Get some money from looting the treasury, maybe show the Daub Dwarf if you're feeling that, and then check your freebies.
Yep. Asuka took down the Elements fight with a well-placed Fuma Shuriken. That extra looting coming in very handy, saving a little bit of time on that fight compared to some of the other runners. But we do have that Wyvern here to, between the Crystal... this is such a nasty 1-2 combo, because you get the Crystal, and your brain immediately kicks into overdrive, because you know your situation. And then the Seed's also like, oh, by the way, would you like some Mega Nuke with that? It's just that 1-2 punch that can really, unsettle you. And, yeesh.
Yeah, it's like, how fast can you reflexively run buffer by seeing an immediate Wyvern? It's a tricky thing to do, and yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes something like that can just throw you for a loop. Come on, Oscar, put up a start. Oh, Tell us arrive.
Tell alive.
Yeah, that can totally throw you for a loop there if you're not prepared for it. And because we don't have a starter kit, it's not guaranteed that our runners even have Starveils up here.
But we do have we found some J items. This Big Bomb has a chance of doing enough to wrap the fight up, just a little short. And of course, there's still plenty of other cutlery in Edge's toolbox if he wants to fling one in a on the rebound. Asuka did save before this fight, so it's not like she has to redo any of the other fights on ordeals.
And as was common back in the day, I might say that quite a bit this race, you're going to, even with some of the runners finding out, well, I guess by some, I mean just Harump, but Jeebus is going to find out too. It was pretty customary upon getting a hook that you would just immediately clear everything on the overworld before going. Early hook dives with limited characters can kind of end in pain. So I'm not surprised to see any of the runners not just immediately dive it. Sometimes you'll see that now, but not so much, I think, here.
And Asuka is through, gets the Paladin online to go, gets all the telespells, gonna have that Crystal for the road. Meanwhile, Harump up here, a Soma drop is for sale here. Unsure if you gonna get one? Yeah. Love to buy a lone Soma drop here. Get that Tela up to 100 max MP, so you actually have 4 doses of weak per rotation in any kind of giant grind, whether it's with the D money or the big map. But I definitely understand Harump, in spite of having that hook, going and clearing everything out here. The worst thing you could do here would be to immediately chase that hook, just to find out the Darkness Crystal was somewhere else on the overworld the entire time.
Oh, yeah, because it's very likely if we get the Darkness, and we know we're not going to see it, but if that had been the case, that the Darkness Crystal had been somewhere else on the overworld, we've got Tela. We can just do a D machine and go.
Yep.
Then, yeah, that could put you 20, 30 minutes behind. So, yeah, definitely a good call. Totally understandable. And I think Jeebus might be our first runner here to have cleared out the top and should be heading to the hook route shortly. Now, that shop I was talking about earlier, it's notable because it's the only shop in the game on S Standard that can have 2 of our higher tier gated items. So 2 of Elixir, Coffin, Hourglass, Bacchus, Siren, and there's probably something else I'm forgetting. But 2 of those can be in Evelyn shop. So even if you don't have a hook route, it's a pretty valuable shop to have. But it could dictate whether or not our runners decide to take any extra grind fights, because Hourglasses makes ogres easy. Not so, and without it, we're kind of relying on cover and size, which usually work. But they, stuff like that works until it doesn't, right?
Ooh, our 2 items, by the way, Hourglasses and Bacchus Wine. Bacchus Wine for an Excal Cecil and an Edge with pretty much anything. Very nice for getting that damage rolling. And like you said, those Hourglass 2s make a ton of bosses trivial, and pretty much every trap chest in the game except for 3 trivial. 4? 5.
I would say 5, but A couple of the moon ones for sure.
Yeah. And while we're approaching this next character check, I do want to give a huge shout out to the background restream team. Scala Kitty handling the restream, throwing up the fun use tonight, both of the new Free Enterprise emote, and of course just the 3-year celebration in general, and Twisted Flags keeping track of all the things that we're overlooking in the booth. Thank y'all both so much for all your hard work.
Yep, always appreciate the fine work that we see out of the team. We don't see character 5. That's a bummer. We do see Dr. Luge as the boss here, who is, for the most part, pretty doable here. The only issue I think you run into as far as being threatening is that because he's really fast, the weak in the rotation, that's Dark Elf, the laser in the rotation, if you don't have Star Veils and you don't put them up, that deals damage based on his total HP, and even though it's splitting forward, he's going to start off with a pretty decent amount of HP. So there's a good chance without a Thunderclaw or like a way to do serious initial damage, that Luge's second form, he's going to wipe out one character.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's one of the bosses I think you're generally more happy to see, and now you're just more concerned with, well, who's the King Queen Evelyn spot boss?
Absolutely, and again, that Excal Cecil will be able to carve through those forms pretty handily. The main trick, though, is that if you Zerg him, he won't be covering anyone else, which admittedly not a problem in the Luge Z phase, but in the first phase, that Balnab punch ain't no joke. Another thing I'm wondering, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think either of Jeebus or Harumph or Tybalt peaked the Odin Throne, did they?
No. Now that you mention it, I don't believe they did, which it's kind of understandable insofar that if you're checking a boss spot that you can't beat unless it's like one boss, then I kind of understand it. But if it happens to be Demas, that's really valuable information. If it happens to be a boss we can use an hourglass on, that's also really valuable information to have. And oh no,
disgusting. That's nasty. The Nope Rope is here to ruin your day, ruin your dreams. Edge, I hope you got some nice swords to fling at this nasty, nasty sea snake. All of a sudden, that Odin Throne spot's looking a little more appealing.
This is one of the fights in the game that just, when I'm running, absolutely destroy me mentally. Ogo in this spot. Evil Wall being the other, but I digress. Yeah. Now, we did see Jeebus did have a curse ring. She's throwing that on Cecil, so I think the plan here, Ogo not doing a physical attack his first turn is going to come in handy. I think the trick is going to be, like you had mentioned, does Edge have enough throwables to basically beat him in 2 turns?
Actually, I'm thinking Jeebus is going to go with the Zerg strats here. I think he's going to get that ninja swinging.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
I'm not positive. It's just the order here with Tella in slot 2 makes me curious. Oh, and even Zerking the cursed Cecil here to get extra damage in.
Is Cecil going first in that party though? Does he have Cecil at 0 agility?
Probably. I don't see any other way that would be happening.
Okay, so yeah, this might actually work. I mean, how good is Excal Cecil? With a cursed ring, he's still putting out 1,000 damage. That's pretty good.
Oh, I'd love to see it. Jeebus saying, I don't care if a Kane is my 5th character. This White Lance is going right into the Nope Rope. Get out of here, Ogo.
Ooh, okay, so crisis averted. Really hope all of our runners have a cursed ring going into that fight, or it could be... There could be issues. We know Jeeves has one since he just passed it. We did see Asuka grab one as well in the Cydia, so eyes will be on Harumph and Tybalt when they get there. Is Jeeves thinking about not taking a safety save after a Ogo at King Queen out?
I don't fault him for this. I don't think this fight is really that much of a threat for Jeebus. One of the very high skilled runners, very familiar with the Dr. Luge script. I don't think he's worried. And also, yeah, popping the bottles in the club already. You know, bought 3 Bacchus wine, already burned 2 at this rate. I love seeing this kind of strategy where you know as soon as you get a darkness crystal, you know what you're doing. So you don't mind burning through all these other resources right now just to push yourself to that point.
Yeah, because you can always just spend 30 seconds and go back and buy more. And it's not like traveling to the Evelyn shop isn't that bad. We have exit spell right out the gate. And of the fights that it's useful to have Bacchus, like the first is probably the Z fight. This is probably the second, just because it's one of the more common fights you're facing where you are at a speed disadvantage. And having one character get Zerg off on all the characters that you want. Now, with Tella at RA1, that's great, but as you can see just now, Tella has the durability of paper mache. So, a small breeze and down he goes. So having that way to Zerg your characters is super useful on this fight. And we do see an oak fight being taken by Tibble.
And Harump is taking down the Stellmen. Let's see if these... Oh, a heroine robe. Well, we do have a Charm Rod. At least several of our runners have a Charm Rod for Rydia. Even at -5 net Wisdom, she can do pretty decent work with that Sylph Summon. And still be, restoring the team's HP decently. So it may be a situation where that speed and that defense is more relevant than the full brunt of her magic power. We'll see.
Oh, and Harump is definitely planning on playing a bunch of Dark games, because I just noticed his inventory. He's got 10 Ancient Swords. I cannot remember the last time I saw somebody actually purchase an Ancient Sword, let alone 10.
Yeah, the price to damage throw-in ratio, not bad, and that may be exactly what he needs for dealing with the Nokrope in a minute. And I just missed what Tybalt got. I'm going to the clip. The Mad Ogre's chest yielded... Yes, we know they gained levels. Yielded... Oh my god, don't click through so fast. My poor eyeballs. A ninja hat. Hooray.
Jeebus is in trouble. Oh no.
Oh, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
So is Tafnike, apparently.
Yeah, that was rough. It was really, I think a big part of that was just that Tella getting hit so early. It can be hard to get him back online, and I think he's extremely vital. He's the white mage. He's all we got, He's our blink, he's our cure, he's our Zerk if you're not drinking wine.
And he's also our wallcaster if you don't have Starveils, and you want to deal with the laser from one-shotting your team without having a nice burst of initial damage, which with Tella down can be hard to do if you're not going to use Bacchus or something like that. Yeah, that's why I was a little surprised to see a hard fight like Ogo. Like, you could give me King Queen. Well, okay, maybe not King Queen. You could give me just about anything. I'm still gonna take.
Oh, Noprobe on the rebound, saying, "I don't think so. You keep that white spear to yourself."
Oh, and he might have just it might have queued the dart, so he might have lost that white spear anyway.
Well, you know what? Excal Cecil go burr.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good pretty much as long as the blink gets off, he's going to get 2 swings per action. His next 2 actions are going to be physical attacks, so he's going to get 6 swings in. That's usually enough, and is still going to not save.
I mean, you already lost some time. We do have a pretty large community race tonight. Can't be spending no time safety saving. I believe we have 15 racers tonight, so you feel like you've already eaten a bit of a time loss. Don't want to eat more.
Yeah, I just keep doing what you do, right? To go with what got you there. If it means not taking safety saves, so be it. And also, there's also the fact that every runner is going to have to do this Ogo, and this is Excal Cecil's great, and darting is great. Ogo at King Queen Evelyn is still Ogo at King Queen Evelyn. A lot of runners are going to have issues with this fight. Alright, Harump is going to take the ogre fight. Totally down with this. To get the extra levels. And at this point, the runners just know that it's the moon or there's Luge, so you kind of want to get your damage up.
I love this nope rope. It's like Edge drinks a flask of wine. No. Like Ogo Pogo saying no to everyone on screen multiple times tonight. This is great. What a nasty boss. I'm here for it.
I am very, very happy to be commentating instead of running, because this fight in this spot absolutely yes, very happy to be watching as opposed to running. Mad respect for the runners having to deal with a fight of this particular caliber. And it's of course worth mentioning, as Scala Kitty mentions in chat, there was a point in time when Scala did roll a pretty large percentage of seeds that were known to be classics for reasons such as this, therefore earning the term the Scala Kitty Classic.
For what it's worth, I think the seed does have its, momentary bouts of rudeness, but overall, you did give our runners an X-Cal for their Cecil. You gave everyone basically a starting edge. I don't know. Maybe you've gone soft in your mature years. There was no good way to say that. I'm so sorry, Scala. How not put foot in mouth? Ah!
I mean, Ogo's still gonna Ogo. So it's
what's our score, by the way? Ogo's taken down wiped parties 4 times now.
He's got to be at least 4. I think he's gotten Tybalt twice and Frump twice. I want to say we did see Frump utilize the Assur summon. Heads up play to just kind of pick that up, understanding that you might not even see a white mage at this point. There is a very significant chance that Darkness Crystal might not need it as much, but Assur could be our best healing spell. So having that in the bag is always kind of useful. And looks like Harump got through. And looks like Jeeves is through the hook fight. Dr. Luge is down. Revenge has been taken. And let's see where he decides to go. Has the option of going to Tamra, looking for shops. Has the option to get the freebies right now. Could go Dwarf Castle, get another character. Could heal that poison to prevent the poison walk. Thankfully, doesn't have the flash on.
Yeah, that is actually one of the features that was not in Zima Zone 1, but it is there now. A very lovely accessibility feature. Removes the poison animation, removes some of the flashing effects during Big Bang and certain other effects in the game, just to make sure that your eyes don't bleed and the sensitive to them do not get migraines unnecessarily.
Of course, I could just have been wrong and it got healed. I think Flax is letting me know in chat I got healed, but still, Luge's his lasting calling card tends to be poisoning your entire party in phase 2 and having you to either use your heal potions or listen to the phone ring for a good minute and a half while you get outside and try to get that tent down or whatever it is that gets the poison out, or just not do it. Tybalt, I believe, is going to be heading back out. Might be considering possibly trying to do some shopping for a cursed ring. That fight can be pretty brutal without it, as has been demonstrated. So yeah, you can see Tybalt immediately going to the armor shop. So that's what he's got in mind.
And Jeebus making a huge gamble here, not pursuing the freebies at all. I admittedly did not see who the boss at the top of Lower Babel was, but Jeebus saw someone he wanted to go fight. Of course, I have a long-standing theory that the Darkness Crystal is always either in the Free Fame Arts chest or at this vanilla Dr. Luge spot that Jeebus is heading towards. So, bold move. Maybe Jeebus thinks other racers would not have lost time on that Luge fight. We know on the restream, Jeebus currently holds the lead. but maybe thinking, some other racer got through their first try, let me make this little gamble, and if it gives me nothing, I just reset back to the bottom of the tower anyway.
Yeah, and seeing who the boss is, something that we can use hourglasses on, going to be a relatively fast fight. The danger becomes we haven't seen a whole lot of key items yet. At most, our runners are looking at 4, so there's still quite a bit out there. It's nice if it's something that you can just straight up reset out of. It's even nicer if it's something that's required. What if it gives you the twin heart? And then you kind of got to walk it out, and now you're a little concerned with, well, do I got to follow this up because I already invested a little bit of time into it? One nice thing is that this spot does give you quite a bit of experience, 25k in the neighborhood, I want to say. And I saw a coffin being used on the back one, so if a life glitch happens there, it's going to be even more. But yeah, this is going to be a pretty quick fight, but doing it this early, I respect the gamble of if you're going to do it early, put your chips down where it is you think it's going to go. But there's a very good chance that this is a key item that just happens to be, or it could be Darkness Crystal and I can just shut my mouth.
There you go. Like I said, it's always at one of two places. Jeebus saw the free fight, went for it, and has been rewarded handsomely. And I even like that better than, for instance, getting, say, the pass in Baymarch even. The pass would be, what are you going to do for your grind, Or are you just going to go buy 1,001 Star Bells? This gives Jeebus access to the home stretch. The finish line is on the horizon. Admittedly, a little bit of work to do, getting the party's levels up to snuff, but nothing standing in his way.
Yeah, I would be a little interested. I don't think Jeeves is going to do this, but there is a possibility. Seeing this, would you be invested enough in finding Character 5 that you would consider maybe taking Dwarf Castle if the Moon character is not your 5th character?
No, not with this party, not with this loadout. I think, because we did see Cure 3s for sale. I forget exactly where. Someone bought a small stack of them. But you just really need to get that Cecil to level 45 and go crunch, crunch, crunch. The big thing that may punish Jeebus a little bit here would be if, say, Feymarch had something like an automatic adamant armor or a pink tail to turn in, and anyone else then comes up here afterwards, because then that person will not only have a very powerful Cecil, but will be able to tear through, Zeromus that much faster. And if there's something even more ridiculous, like maybe a Fuso Ya on the Moon, you don't even have to grind at all. Put that adamant armor on him, and he can solo Zeromus with the right consumables.
Yeah, I think lending credence to that, Jeeves is taking a page out of PK's book and full looting this tower, hoping to get something pretty nice from these trap chests. They can yield an adamant armor. Admittedly, the chances in the tower are a little low. It did get nerfed a little bit, but it's a good if you have a chance to get them out quickly and you're hoping to find some like high tier gear, maybe an edge weapon like a Masamune would be really nice to find here. Admin armor, of course, would be great. But yeah, it does kind of lend credence to the notion of let's get our team powered up as best we can. We're gonna rock it with these 4. I'd be a little interested to know if Jeeves has Asura on R8 with an R2 Zeromus. If you have just one other person chucking tier 3s, it can be a little tricky and easy to fall behind. But we'll see. There are very few runners I would trust more in a limited resource Zeromus fight than Jeebus. So I think this will be pretty good.
And I will mention that, okay, we have lost Jeebus' stream. We'll have it back in a moment. But, another point of this was that, the tower gamble made a little sense, maybe feeling that you're behind in a big group race, not making it through the hook first try. But at the same time, having this gamble pay out first try makes a little more sense. Well, let me loot and see if I can get a leg up. Because other people, you can very reasonably assume that they will go check their freebies. And now you can just pursue this, take a little bit of time to try to get that extra power level. Asuka, meanwhile, actually going for the trap chests in Evelyn Castle, another place where we could find something absurdly powerful. I missed what the drop was from that Coral Queen Lamia fight, though.
Yeah, it's a very nice safety as far as if you see the hook route and you're a little concerned about your party and a little concerned about what those spots, given vanilla agility, even with the cursor, you're just concerned about punching Mitch Puncherton, possibly punching you all over the place in that spot. I do like it as far as being able to, get your party up into the mid 20s and really make that hook fight a little more comfortable. Sometimes it can be really stressful trying to deal with having the cutting edge lower levels, no pun intended, going into that hook fight.
Jeebus here, going into Dwarf Castle for shopping. I'm wondering if this is specifically to try to find blades for Edge. I would be shocked to see him go to the throne room here, given that we do have a free character, a gated character location at that, just waiting for us on the moon.
Well, if there was ever anything he wanted to pick up to dart, Drain Spears were for sale there. He didn't buy any. So, maybe to pick up Sirens, but I kind of like your point earlier as far as like Sirens just being really expensive and probably we have good ways of dealing 1800. His name is Cecil, but D-Machine might be, okay.
Well, you know what I can appreciate, though, now that, upon reflection, we do have the tools to tear through gold dragons pretty quickly, and there's that vanilla agility wrinkle and everything again. I can see Jeebus being very intent on cutting Cecil off right at level 44, 45 to have that sweet spot 28 agility and not a penny more. If we were to go D-Money here, and try to get Rydia to nuke, Cecil's going to end up at some very weird level 53, 54, probably agility around 33 or something, and Jeebus may just not want to deal with that little bit of awkwardness.
Yeah, you're one of the benefits of doing the Siren grind is the extra granularity in regards to whether or not you want to have your party gain every single level that is capable, and with vanilla agility and Cecil, that's not always the case. I think you would need pretty much a Dwarf Axe if you wanted to still maintain 28 agility and get nuked, but it's kind of rough and rough. Does get through the hook route, so we have a second person in the ground.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Tybalt and Asuka both going to be getting a Protect Ring from the Mad Ogre's chest, a nice little extra piece of defensive gear that pretty much anybody except DKC can wear. Very lovely to add to your repertoire.
Sadly, there's not very much that DKC can.
True. And we have a Luca key in Feymarch. I don't see that being pursued anytime soon.
Yeah, I know there's someone out there who does like to say always sealed. However, with vanilla agility and a lot of better options, I think, on the table, that could possibly give you character 5. Even with the hindsight, I still would probably put off that sealed cave. That is a very, very dangerous spot in this flag set. Although with Sirens, 30, 40 levels can alleviate a lot of ills.
Yeah. My kind of concern for Jeebus now, okay, well, he did check the freebie and he appears to be moving on, is that I always get so nervous when I am in go mode and there is... I get worried when you have a lengthy amount of time between your go mode and your grind. Finding life potions, of course, and ethers very important for executing a D-Money grind, which, is that back on the table now? Or is this just going to be gold dragons with those sirens? Like, Jeebus has options, but I feel like he needs to pick one and get along with it.
Well, I think the ethers and the life potions are so he can life twist the gold dragons.
Okay.
His main way of getting down the gold dragons, I don't think is going to be Zerking Cecil. I think he's going to cast Weak and maybe try to get some doubles, but I think Tella's Weak spell is going to be the main way that he gets the gold dragons down, and therefore doesn't want to have to go back and use a tent every 4 turns, or every 2 fights. So I think that's what the plan is, and then coming back here to get some Buckeye for the Z fight totally makes sense. We mentioned it earlier. You can always go back and buy more. So,
This is such the most awkward shop to return to, though. I hate it because it's like, let me swap my airship, let me pick up my hovercraft, let me drop my hovercraft, let me go back. Like, it really is so annoying. But when it's hourglasses and Bacchus wines, yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, hourglasses will be very, very important for taking on gold dragons. Those dudes can absolutely wreck your party if left unchecked. And Bacchus is going to be for the Z fight. We are not going to probably count on Tella lasting terribly long in this fight, in the Z fight. So having a way of Zerk post Black Hole is going to be important. So I think we're going to see the big whale raised, and the next order of business is going to be: does the moon give us character number 5?
After these cutscenes from our sponsors. Come visit lovely Mysidia Tower. Learn your favorite elementary black and white magic spells at the local academy. See a spaceship come out of the ocean. All this and more can be yours. Book with your local travel agent today. Serpent Road, now open.
Interested in learning the martial arts? Want to enhance your life through the power of monkdom? Check out Fabul.
Learn a special walk-only cooking course from Sheila herself. Watch out, she's got a spoon.
Can I interest you in a set of cookware? Alright, so he's not gonna go immediately.
Where are you going, Jeebus? Where are you going? Stop teasing us, Jeebus.
I think we're. What are we looking for? Cure 3s maybe would be my guess.
That would be very good. Very good.
I was gonna say, if he buys vampires, then I'm totally
I want to have one of everything before I go fight some. Oh, Silk
Silk Webs are pretty important.
Yeah. Okay, legit.
Now I'm thinking, like, what would every city in Final Fantasy IV's?
I mean, you gotta spend your spring break doing Habitat for Humanity at Castle Wetland.
I wonder if Troy's commercial has to do with people blocking short forest entries as Chiefs is forced to use an exit out of by the Toroya NPC. You do love to see that.
Mm-hmm. All right, are we finally gonna go to the moon and see who this 5th character? I just hope it's Foo. Just to be like, oh, did you intend to grind?
I'm kind of hoping for Edward at this point.
Oh, that would be pretty great. We do have dueling nope ropes going on now. Tybalt and Asuka both working to try to get through that first part of the puzzle here to get underground.
Yeah, and this fight is definitely where those Evelyn fights are going to, be it's going to be a benefit. You're going to have more HP, and with this fight in particular, it's not about lasting as long as you can. It's doing 6,000 damage as fast as you can. And Harumph does see a free fight in the Fey March, which I totally don't blame him for taking. Yes, you take this fight 10 times out of 10, but it is going to set him back a little bit because we know the crystal is on the top of that tower. So if this does not give the tower key and it gives something else like the Earth Crystal, that could be a little bit of a negative.
Yep. Meanwhile, Jeebus has found only a duplicate Rydia on the moon, looking like we're going to have 4 party members only for Jeebus's Zeromus run. Other featured races may make that Dwarf Castle play like you mentioned. They may find an Earth Crystal and head up Zot. There are lots of places we can still get a 5th character, but I don't think we'll be seeing that from Jeebus tonight.
Well, Flax does bring up a very good point. This could still have the pass. And we have sirens, so we can get ourselves some omelets here. That is definitely a way to make up some time. You don't have to do moonwalk. You'll have to do quite a bit of eggs, but we can one-shot them pretty reliably, I think, with X-Cal Cecil at least until 45, and then after that, Edge hopefully has the levels to get the job done. This would be another case where having a Dragon Whip would be very handy if we end up going the egg route, but that may not be the case. But yeah, Pass is totally a thing that could turn the seed on its head as it was.
Yeah. Harumph still working his way through the guards here, doing it bit by bit. Jeebus, meanwhile, looks to be opting for the Cave Bahamut Gold Dragon location. Floors 2 and 3 here have them. Similarly, floors, I believe, 3 and 6 have them in the Lunar Subterranean. So, lots of places to get your Gold Dragon on if you so desire.
Yes, that sounds right. I know it's on the floor where the Ogo is, and the floor of the bridge where the Wyvern is.
Yeah. Oh, and chat, yeah, Shmoo, wondering if Harumph remembers that he has Odin. Yeah, Odin, of course, can chew through these guards. Tella has both stone and weak that can do a lot of work. So yeah, don't forget your other options. And even if you just needed to miniaturize or toad them, that would be getting you bonus damage from your melee fighters. But he's through.
Yeah, Odin has a particularly low base hit percentage, and then any increase on that hit percentage is based on Rydia's magic stat, which with a Charm Rod is pretty good, but she's also like level 20, probably still in her 20s, and you're not meant to see vanilla Odin in the game until way later than that. So the failure rate on Odin is pretty high, but you know, it in the middle of your rotation, it couldn't hurt to throw it out.
Yeah, and I mean, the soldiers weren't doing anything anyway.
They were doing their best red light, green light game, except it was always red light.
Shmoo, I would dare say Odin is even worse. Odin has a flat coin flip miss rate before it even starts rolling its normal accuracy. And Asuka has torn through that nope rope, threw a Gungnir to get it done, but hey, you know, we saw holy lances thrown, lots of cutlery being thrown into this snake.
Asuka showing her quote-unquote appreciation for that particular fight afterwards, which I am all here for. And with that fight, it really doesn't matter if you get it done at 30 minutes or you get it done at an hour 30 minutes. If you get past Ogo at King Queen Evelyn, that is an accomplishment right then and there. So really nicely done.
Oh, absolutely. Tibalt, meanwhile, working the way through the next fight. That Excal Cecil doing tons of work. Harumph finds D-Lunars at the second spot here. A very doable fight again, which is just unnecessary temptation. That Zeus Gauntlet, the reward from the other fight, is a lovely piece of gear, but it's not progression.
Yeah, I like the soldiers at Asura because there are ways to make that fight relatively quick. This fight, not quite so much. You're gonna kind of have to stomach it out and get them to their 7th turn, in which case you're probably going to want to put some Star Bells up and see the Lunar Frog strat, but that's not, sometimes it doesn't always hit. And even after that, we still have about a little under 40,000 worth of damage to chew through. I distinctly remember getting advice about D-Lunars at the Feymarch always being a trap. So a little more wary about this one. But if you can do it, and sometimes just do what you can do. And I always appreciate being able to see runners take on what seemed like initially to be very difficult fights at very high level and high stat locations, and like just demonstrating that kind of skill is always awesome.
If you like low-level strats, can I interest you in a vanilla speedrun at some point, Flurry?
I mean, I'm only trying to run like 5 randomizers at once right now, so that might not be on the table immediately. Looks like Harumph is... Okay, I did have to take a wipe there. One thing I did notice, generally that Leviathan spot has among the highest attack in the game. I want to say it's tied to the highest, but anyway, it's really, really high. But D-Lunars has some racial defense items that you can take advantage, and Cecil was only taking 1 damage, which shows to me, like, even if that ends up being a reset, like, really good to get knowledge.
Yeah, and Twisted Flags pointing out crystal armor. Yeah, anything that gives zombie defense or dragon defense will give you excellent protection against their physical attacks. While we're, waiting for, seeing the results of the branching paths, Tibalt is through, by the way, our 3rd featured restreamee to get through Dr. Luge. We'll be falling down that pitch soon. Sometimes it's fun to hypothesize, what might, again, no one knows the mind of Board Face, but I still think it'd be funny if like there was like a level cap flag, like excluding maybe Fu because he comes at level 50 or whatever. Like no one can level past like 30 or something just to force like really exciting low level strats through and through.
I'm gonna go ahead and put exciting in quotes there.
I mean, it would just be just cute things for folks who want to suffer a little more on occasion.
Suffer is, I believe, an appropriate word to use for that. If you are not familiar with 1200 HP strats, that is a very good way to learn them.
Yeah, you'd learn them in a hurry there.
Yeah,
Jeebus takes down. Oh god.
Go ahead.
Oh, Jeebus takes down another couple dragons. Let's see what levels he's at here. He's getting very close. That Cecil is level 44. That is the marker. 44 and 45 put you at the exact agility breakpoint you want. I'm wondering if he's going to just accept a few more levels on Cecil, because Excal go burr, or if we're going to see him knock his own paladin to the ground here to guarantee stability on that agility front.
Yeah, you can get away with like 29 or 30 agility. And for reference for anybody in chat who may not understand what we mean by the agility breakpoint.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm not going to do like the entire agility breakdown, but as it pertains to Z, we generally assign when you say how fast somebody is, you do it in terms of how many ticks does it take for their ATB bar to fill. The thing about the way FF4 calculates is that it always rounds down. So if you're at 1.0, you are just as fast as you were 1.9. To get Zeramus to 2.0, your anchor needs to have 28 agility, which is why if you've ever gone in with like 27 or 26, you probably had a bad time. So any more than that, your party's only getting slower, because then Zeramus at 2.1, 2.2, he's still going to be at 2. It's going to be just as fast. It's only the rest of your party getting slower. So that's why that 28 breakpoint is really important. Oh, we did get a Job Dwarf track, a license clerk. Hey, I'm down with that. All right, so I'm looking at her off screen. All right, so he's going to Dwarf Castle. We may see character 5 here. We see the dancing CPUs. Dancing CPUs. Just mentally picturing that is funny. And let's see. We get a Rosa.
It's a pretty good 5th character right there. Anyone who takes this route will be very thankful to have her. She is, of course, the supreme wife mage of the game. Having really good HP growth, learning all the spells faster than a lot of people. Just a wonderful addition. I think we even have some good stat sticks lying around for her. So although our racers who take this route, they're not going to be quite, ready to Noom as Jeebus is right now, they're going to have a much cozier time dealing with these follow-up endgame fights. Zeromus in particular, so much safer when you have a Rosa around to throw some cured cores for your team.
Are we seeing Chocobo double life strats? Okay. I was gonna say I am totally here for that. But yeah, like Zeromus is going to do damage to your party. You can mitigate some of it, but he's going to do damage to your party. Jesus is going to have to heal, and there's like Tella can with a single target cure 4. You have cure 3s, that's a thing. But like for every character that's healing, they are not doing damage to Zeromus. And sometimes that fight can balloon up in time, and if the wrong person gets counter nuked, like this is a party that, while capable of doing quite a bit of damage, is also a little frail. So finding that Rosa could be an advantage that pays off, even if it's not immediate, 30 minutes from now.
Yep. Asuka is through to the underground, takes down that Dr. Luggage. We'll see which route she chooses to chase. Harumph, meanwhile, apparently getting an adamant armor for the Dwarf Castle reward, getting Rosa plus adamant, and decides it's grind time. I got 5 characters. Let's pop a few sirens. and look to be considering the sealed cave route. So all our runners trying to avoid Keyless Tower. The gamble of Jeebus paying off immensely so far. No finishers in the race, but Jeebus is back on the blue planet?
I don't know.
Enough cold feet. Kill, Jeebus, kill! We want to see that Zeroma's butt. Sorry, go ahead.
I'd say purchasing Asura, maybe? Secure 3s? Out of Ethers? And life? Oh, that'd be a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah,
You ran out of potions and Ethers for that, but... I mean, like I said, this is a party where a lot can go wrong very quickly. So, Jeeves may wanted to cross his T's and dot his lowercase J's, as it were.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. But we got that crystal so early, and Jeebus, made the play to get that darkness crystal, and now I'm just like, I want to seize Aromas. I want to seize Aromas. I want to seize Aromas. I'm sorry. I'm 5 years old. I am just a small birthday boy in a birthday chair, and I'm not. It's not actually my birthday, but I want to seize Aromas.
Well, we do have an emote to commemorate the sea fight as it was, which I have a feeling we will be seeing, if not right now, from the next few minutes. And yeah, like it's. I'm very interested to see what the Sealed Cave boss is. Sealed Cave being another one of those locations where you get to see the key item before you take the fight. I say another one as if there's like a whole bunch of them. But you can reset out and not even have to deal with the boss there, which is always nice if you don't have to take a boss fight. But again, just given the lack of branches that we seem to have available to our runners, other than the Darkness Crystal, I feel like the chances, I know I said this last time and I was totally wrong, the chances of us seeing a transitional key item would be a little high here. But watch, I'm going to be totally wrong, and it's going to be a Drain Spear, and as a true call out to ZZ1.
There you go. Drain Spears, Glass Helmets, and what was the third? What was the third part of the Trinity? Oh my god.
Ninja Shirt?
Ninja Shirt! Yes.
You know I'm not going to forget about a Ninja Shirt. Come on.
I know. Which, in all fairness, I have a newfound respect for recently, just because the one not being as high ranked, so now you can just find them normally, but just being extremely high physical and magical defense. Like, it's so nice. Harumph,
Yang the Ninja Shirt.
please don't let there be a Demonist here. Okay, good.
It's a free fight. Okay, so all that talking up I do on this spot, and hey, look, it's Dark Imps. We have hourglasses. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just going to feel so bad if it were Demist here, because Harumph can just reset. That Adamant Rock is not required in the slightest. It's not going to do anything. So this is actually just kind of a time sink. We already have an X-Cal on Cecil. Harumph may be hoping to get something really good from Forging eventually, but this doesn't gate anything.
Yeah, this, in ZZ1, this was a resettable key item, but I could also just be Harumph wants to get 10.
Yeah, that's true. Getting to 10 for the double XP, and also this fight's not bad XP in itself either. I was wondering though, did Harumph actually make the trip to Sheila 1?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, at this point, Harumph only has two options on the table, either Sheila 1 or Keyless Tower. We know Keyless Tower is the big play, but kind of wondering now what Sheila's been hoarding this entire time. I'm shocked that all our folks who went underground, none of them have pursued that check yet.
All right, well, we are walking down to the Lunacore. We are hearing the giant theme. We see the Z flags in chat. I believe it is time for the Z fight. That generally involves asking one particular question. What question might that be?
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I think so, Brain, but where are we going to find the rubber pants? Sorry. Had to do it just once. Yeah, we are going to see a randomized Zoroma sprite. So we can't really randomize where Z appears. Maybe one day, but that's probably not going to happen. So instead, we're going to randomize the Zoroma sprite. You could have one Zoroma sprite for every day of the year and still have more. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones there. Skull Kitty doing the bulk of the work on these awesome Z sprites, and I'm personally hoping to region this. That always gets a laugh out of me. But yeah, let's see what the Z sprite is for today.
Here we go. So we're going to see instant wine on Cecil's part here. Gonna get those big Zerker hits swinging.
Oh boy.
He's a little piggy. He's a big piggy. Oh my goodness.
Hey, nothing little about that piggy.
Yeah, that's a big pig. You could be a big pig too. Oi.
Alright, so Soap down. You have this one Zerk down. I would be very surprised if you saw both characters or counter nuke on Cecil. Not too big of a deal because we have Cure 4. So this first one will be nerfed. The real fight's going to come in once we get to Big Bang number 2.
Yeah, the first one being nerfed means Edge, Cecil, and Riddy are guaranteed to survive it. Tella, depending on his equipment, has a shot at this point. It's 4 rolls of up to 300 damage apiece. If he can manage to evade even one of them, then of course the max hit will be 900 damage. So we'll see if Tella can pull it out. If not, there'll probably be some quick Lifes and Cure 3s and Cure 4 castings. And Cecil, please do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure Jeeves is familiar enough with this fight to know. I know it's a little tricky for me personally, trying to figure out when and where you're going to get the face switch as it pertains to, you know, do you see a shake and then you get a face switch and you're like, well, I didn't need to nerf that. So I kind of think we're going to see most of these Big Bangs. Well, maybe we won't, because nerfing at RE2 is a very fickle thing.
Yep. And other news with our featured Restream Ease, Asuka picked up a Ninja Blade in the Fame Arch to give that Edge something a lot more mightier to swing. Tybalt has chosen wisely, taken the correct path up Keyless Tower. Will be getting his Darkness Crystal upon clearing this fight. And using Assassin Dagger to proc Swoon. Sneaky, sneaky. And Harumph, meanwhile, is showing that, no, we did not want to fight that Odin Throne earlier. We need to file a bug report. That is a very nasty antlion on the Odin Throne.
Bug report, I get it. Worth
You ever
noting
heard that before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I thought that was old hat at this point. I thought I was going to get called out on for, get some fresher memes and
Oh no, I am. Yes.
Okay.
That's at least a 7 out of 10 for me. Worth noting, Tybalt did keep his Rosa and his Rydia down for that fight. Does kind of indicate that maybe Tybalt is going to not be as concerned as much about Cecil's level or agility, and is just going to do a simple 6x2 and get up to Nuke and White and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, you get those kind of levels on Rosa, and it's fine for Cecil to be a few levels over the top. The actual risk here is with the slingshot. The risk is if Cecil ends up at level 43. Then you might have some agility anchoring problems.
Yeah, that'd be a bummer. I think Tybalt has checked enough shops and might have like a spare siren, so if that's the case, you can take one extra fight and it's not too bad. But yeah, that's kind of the one little bit of time sink is that, yeah, sure, 6x2 does get your slingshotted characters up to 50, but your non-slingshotted characters, not so much.
Nice landing, Tybalt. Very well executed. I love those two little squares that you can land on. You think you're flying in hot, you're gonna break through the crater, and it's like, we just wanted to. We heard really good things about the sightseeing here.
So I have heard a runner mention that the way you call that off is you drop a save point there and you call it as an alternative save spot, and it's some new tech that you're coming up with to cover up poor air.
Nice. Nice. I dig it. I dig it. Harumph now running precipitously low on checks. Only has those D Lunars and Keyless Tower, which going for the D Lunars, it looks like.
Yeah, I think if at this point in time, if you haven't taken the Keyless Tower, Tybalt might be thinking, well, more runners are more likely to have, this might be more along the similar path. I'm just trying to get into somebody's head, which is probably very poor commentary practice, but I kind of feel like he's saying, you know what, I've already decided to not do the Keyless Tower at this point. I'm just not going to do Keyless Tower until it's the last time I do it.
Yeah, and also, again, our tracker, Flax, pointed out, nobody checks Sheila 1. It's just freebie, just sitting there in the bowl. Freebies for anyone who wants it. I want to know what it is. I'm really curious. I guess I'm going to look at the spoiler log after Jeebus. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Is that a full Big Bang that took out everybody except Cecil?
Except Zerker Cecil.
Oh, boy.
That is a shake. We would need to see a shift into Meteo and a Meteo dodge here. And that is a reset. 4-player parties with no true white mage and bad agility anchoring. Not bad, just it's not the RA1 strats that so many folks are accustomed to. Can sneak up on you. Jeebus is very close to clinching that win, but has to redo this fight from scratch.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, looking back at this feat, I don't think it's something that runners would necessarily want to do. If this was a case where you would intentionally get your Cecil to the point where with a Dwarfax you can be agility 0 and have him also be RA1 with enough hit points and let Edge carry the damage and maybe turn Cecil into the best equipment wearing Pure Potion Chucker that the world has ever seen. That is one possible alternative that I'm kind of here cracking my head, which probably is not the way to go. But hey, yeah, it's we don't exactly have the kind of comforts that our runners are used to having, and this is what could happen in the Z fight back in the day.
Yep. Tilt, meanwhile, flying straight to the moon. I am guessing he intends to do Siren grinds as well instead of the slingshot. But being 5 levels behind, Rosa and Rydia will play catch up in a hurry. And again, going for the granularity here, making sure your Cecil doesn't get over-leveled. I get it. Harumph, meanwhile, dealing with D's Lunars down here, popping those Starvilles, gonna try to land the full Froggy strats again. And always remember, chat, if you only get one frog, make sure you bop that frog. That frog will try to cast Wall, and frogs aren't good at casting Wall, it turns out.
Among the other things they have issues with. Wall being one of them.
It's not easy being green.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Tybalt, one nice thing about, as you mentioned before, having those characters down is that slingshot is going to be pretty fierce. If you had 10 key items, and we don't, but if you do, just one of those gold dragon fights with a slingshot is going to get your characters into the 40s. So yeah, not going to be that much of a... Although, okay, I saw them take down one character in one shot. I was a little concerned, but yeah, Hourglass down, we're good to go.
Yep. We do have double frogs for Harumph, so this fight is firmly under control. The Lunar Toads will not be any more of a threat. Asuka, meanwhile, has taken down the orb, will get her Rosa, and after that next fight, gonna have an adamant armor as well. Jeebus is actually in a tricky situation here. If Jeebus takes another wipe, Tybalt can be hot on his heels, and an adamant armor and a Rosa to boot could be the difference maker.
I also would really like to see if Asuka, after getting this Rosa, checks Sheila 1 and it has the pass, and just sirens up really quick to level 45 and just goes. That can save a whole lot of time too. Like you had mentioned, no one has checked Sheila 1. If that's the pass, that's a big deal.
Yeah, again, and at this rate, I don't think anyone will. So it's definitely going to be a Hi, can I see your spoiler log, please? I would like to save my curiosity.
Well, Asuka still might, because Asuka hasn't been through this tower. I think there's a chance she does freebies into Sheila 1. Unfortunately, the spoiler log will not tell us if Sheila 1 has the pass, which is a little bit of a bummer.
That's true.
Okay, so Tella goes down on Jude's side, get that wipe up on Tella. Probably immediate cure 4. Having 3 party members alive will help a little bit here, but this is where things start to get a little tricky.
And Harumph getting only a Bahamut summon, and you normally with Iridia you'd be kind of excited to have one, but at this point, Harumph has checked so many spots and come up with pretty much nothing. Now only has Sheila and Helis Tower. Let's see which route he chases first. Asuka, meanwhile, cleans up the Dark Knight Cecil with a little HP to spare. Gonna get her armor reward to go with that Rosa. And Harumph is choosing the right path at this point.
Man, it blows my mind that one key item away at the 15-minute mark, like we're so close. We're one key item away to not check the freebie Sheila 1, as I guess to what the opposite of prolific would be. But yeah, to have this many runners not check Sheila 1 blows my mind.
I wonder if part of it comes down to everyone having at least a minor hiccup with the hook route. Jeebus, of course, made his gamble, made his choice, and got the Darkness Crystal. He didn't have a reason to. Everyone else, I wonder if there's the mental attitude of, because I had some hiccups, if it were Sheila 1, someone would be done by now. And no one's done. Jeebus can still clinch this race in spite of the Zeroma swipe, and things are looking a little more stable this time. Let's see if he can hold on and bring it home.
Well, Tella is out of HP. Did have to burn the elixir on Cecil. Jeebs might be just trying to use as many resources as he can just to get to Meteor phase and hope that even if Cecil is solo from there, he does the job. Tella gets one more turn, should be fine. Should have already gotten the phase switch by now. So that direct nuke may throw a nuclear wrench into his plan. So let's see what happens.
Asuka doing the more traditional yellow dragon egg grind. Gotta get this team up to snuff and swinging. With that adamant armor, with that X-Gal, a few levels here will allow her to clear through all these subsequent fights pretty handily. Meanwhile, Tybalt very close to those desirable levels. Should already have, I believe. What's the armor situation here? What are we doing? Oh, we need 2 to 3 more levels on Cecil. And Rose, I believe, needs 1 more level for Cure 4.
Alright, so Big Bang 3, I believe that is survived by Jude. So let's see if the consumables in the MP last, but thus far seems to have a good enough rhythm to go. And Tybalt, yeah, just about to. I wonder if he ran out of sirens.
Yeah, maybe intending to just take a boss fight, maybe at the D-Lunar's altar or the Plague altar. May intend to just turn on random encounters and take what is ever thrown at him by the game itself. But meanwhile, Harumph got the Darkness Crystal walking down the tower. Asuka gambling correctly, walking up the tower. No love for Sheila 1 tonight.
No Sheila. Man. Okay. So yeah, Helis Tower must be all the rage. Because yeah, here we go. I wonder if maybe Tybalt has a ninja hat or something like that to get Cecil up to 28 through way of agility boosting items.
But you still got to get Rose at level 40 for Cure 4, right? Or does she learn that at like 38 or something? And
she learned it in the high 30s.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, maybe ready. As far as the adamant armor on Cecil, I don't mind an agility 42 Cecil, especially with an X-Gal. And especially as well, Tybalt might not have silk webs. Jeebus spent all that time hunting for one to use. So I can see that concern. Like, I would like to hit 42, but if I don't have a silk web, yeah, maybe we let someone else wear that armor, you know?
Yeah, the main downside with 42 agility is that it makes your mages slower relative to the rest of the party. Yeah, Zeromus is a little slower, but so are your mages. So it's good for your Zerker, which in this case is the engine of this fight. But it's Tella, might have an issue getting turns out, but as you see with Edge and Tella chucking things out, seems to be okay. Although if this big bang comes out, everyone's dead. Okay. Are we at the meteor phase? That is the question.
Yeah, Cecil with over 1200 HP can survive a Meteo, and here comes the first one. Going to need to dodge any subsequent ones and or get in the remaining damage. We know there's less than 12,000 HP to go.
Oh, this is the one.
Another Meteo gonna come.
No.
Oh, the animation. Oh! That is less than 3,000 HP on that pig. So rude.
And this is where having that Rosa, I guess the set could be 30 minutes down the line, but it can totally pay off. That Rosa's sitting at, if you get that Rosa up to 2,400 HP, yeah, not nearly as big of an issue as far as having to worry about spending 3-4 turns to get your party up the way that Jeebus has to, relying on single target cure 4s and potions from Edge.
Yeah, and Tybalt here has kind of, perhaps, maybe, surpassed Jeebus, heading on down to the Z-Fight himself. Lower levels, but has a Rosa on the team, has an adamant armor, just has, more party members in general to throw items and or, eat a nasty nuke, survive a big bang on a lucky roll. Lots of, this can go either way at this point.
Yeah, I think the concern about Tybalt is what you had brought up earlier. If he's still at 26 or 25 agility, this is going to go south very quickly. But if it got up to 28, then I feel like he's in a good spot. You could see Jeebs is just taking random encounters at this point to just get a few more levels. But that's going to give Tybalt has a chance to be our first restreamed racer to finish here, and that's with Jeebs going into the Z fight about 15 minutes earlier.
Our producer's informing us there have been off-screen finishes. We were hoping to try to delay that revelation until someone on-screen finished, but we'll let you know, chat. Sadly, these excellent racers have been ever so slightly outdone. Y2 Sky has taken first place with 127.51, and Possum Morpheus has come in second with a 129.11. So a couple of people managing to make the sub-90, but the rest of the pack still has a little more to go.
Boy, shout outs to both of them. Y2 Sky pulling out the first place in the community race. Congrats. That's awesome to see. Alright, so let's see. Cecil's HP is about 2290. Is that down? Or he hits 40, or he hits level 44? My HP table is, I know it more as it pertains to black mages as it does to Cecil. Well, I guess we'll find out if we see Zeromus get a surprisingly early Big Bang or a surprisingly fast shake. And that should be enough. So we're good to go here. Cure 4 from Rosa should be fine there. Might try to throw in some spells from Rydia, but to be perfectly honest, at even Ice 3, Fire 3, Lit 3, that spell cast time is so slow that you might get one cast off, and that's going to be that.
And here we go. Rosa going to be showing her power. That group Cure 4 queued up. Is there a chance you think Tybalt forgot that Vanilla Agility's on?
Oh, maybe. That would, seeing Tella in the middle slot would definitely be the clue there. This is Yeah, this is about if you didn't have if you only had one Bacchus, this is about the party lineup I would see. Otherwise, I would expect to see Cecil in that top spot with the X-Cal. But yeah, you could absolutely be right. And ooh, that was a significantly big bang, and that black hole came out pretty fast.
Yeah, I think there is definitely some agility. I think there's some sort of an agility situation going on here.
So Harump and Asuka got a shot here. This incredibly large royal pig is not making it easy for our restream runners, and is giving pretty much everybody a shot here. And I didn't see it fast enough. What level Cecil was at.
There is the reset from Tybalt. Jeebus looks to be a little more content with his Edge's HP and appears to be making that hike again. Tybalt not going to grind at all, going to go in a second time. I saw him turn his battle speed down a notch, but again, I'm leery of the Cecil situation here.
Yeah, the first few actions seemed a little too quick for me. And sadly, Battle Speed 3, Battle Speed 4, it helps a little bit, but it's if your agility is at like 25 or 26, lowering the battle speed is not really going to help as much as you'd want it to. All right, looks like Asuka's going to be doing a little more shopping. Hopefully the Troy NPC does not claim a second victim today. Harump on that Siren grind looks to be right around... might be going all the way to nuke here on Rydia. She's sitting at about 1400 HP. Has Cecil down, so is getting levels past 45 and gets 80 damage short of the roll for the egg. Hate when that happens. So looks to be getting at least Rosa a set amount of HP, maybe going all the way to nuke for Rydia, and that's going to make Harump's Z fight a lot more easy.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we do have a third place finisher. Poydrak is wrapped up with a 134.48. Let's see if this time is the charm for Jeebus, but Tybalt entering the fight at the same time.
Yeah, this is true. With Rosa, even with Adamant, Rosa with 1500 HP is definitely a little bit of a liability here. And if the plan is to nerf things at Zeroma's being at RA2, we've seen that in a couple tournaments, and it's very hard. It can be done, but the timing is exceptionally precise to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier if you have multiple Zerkers going to clog the queue for you, just so that you know when everything is falling into the rotation.
Yeah, and we're probably only going to... Two would make it a little easier, but they also don't have a lot of HP. It can be a little rough. Harump is looking at the levels, deciding. So Rosa's HP may have been the barometer here as to whether or not to go, because he's sitting at level 47 on Rydia and looks to be making the final preparations to head to Zeromas. And are we going to see Sheila 1? We might see Sheila 1 take you, Asuka.
This could just be a shopping junket.
Aww.
Don't get your hopes up.
I so much want to see a pass here.
That's completely legit. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Asuka, the savior of the Sheila.
Oh, it was the pass. It was the pass.
That is amazing. All this work, all this effort by everyone, and the goods were just sitting there all along. Everyone punched their ticket for the long way round.
I mean, if if Asuka's levels are set, she's gonna get into the Z fight before her own by a significant amount.
Yeah, no need to fly to that moon.
Boy, something. Always check your freebies.
It's a good lesson for everyone to learn.
Asuka may be a little flustered by taking up the pass. Taking the trip into the Mist Inn is probably just collecting her thoughts. Can go into that Z fight as soon as she wants now. Knows where Sirens is, so just a few levels away. And yet that, boy, when our runners find out that's where the pass was.
And the other thing too is that everyone ended up doing some variant of a Siren grind. No one even made a D-Money play. So the fact is that you had perfectly viable grind options here on the blue planet. Didn't need to sit through those cutscenes. It's a duplicate character on the moon. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Oh man! All right, so round 3 for Jeep seems to be going pretty well. Looks to be implementing more or less the same strat. Get ethers on. Ether alternate between ethers, and if you have Cure 3s with Edge, Tello basically casting single target Cure 4s, and last long enough to be and hope to not get as unfortunate rolls as Jeeps did there. It was very, very close. Really just needed to survive one more big bang. So Edge at this point, like, I think the main danger was having Edge also wipe to a big bang while at full HP. When you take enough big bangs, sometimes the rolls just aren't going to go in your favor. So now Edge sitting at 25-39, that should not happen.
Yeah, but again, I'm pretty sure that Edge is only wearing a hat. Just running into the Zeromus fight, swinging 2 swords and a hat. This pig is very confused. You can tell by the expression on its face. And Edge, not really known for, having a really good magic defense. So even with the 2500, a 9-hit Big Bang can still one-shot him.
It must be some kind of hat.
We do, by the way, have a 4th place finisher. Roger McBain has come in with a 139.51. GG's to Roger.
Nice done. Yeah, it looks all right. So looks like Jeeves was able to get the single target Cure 4 off. Did have to deal with that virus cast, so hasn't had the face switch yet. So isn't quite halfway done. Tybalt is going to be getting up some levels, may have realized the agility shenanigans that were in play, and I think we'll see at least get up to level 44 on Cecil.
Yeah, landing that 28 should be a huge difference maker. Yeah, level 45 now, but gonna grind a little more, it seems. Wanting those, I'm guessing wanting to get that Rosa to a bit higher than just the 1700s. Rydia, you're not going to accomplish too much in the way of her HP, but getting Rosa and Edge to a little more secure neighborhood, it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, Rydia's bridge to effectiveness in this fight is basically hinges on, are you going to get to level 50 for new? And I don't, it's quite a bit of experience. She needs 1 million experience, and I'm not just saying it's 1 million. She actually needs 1 million experience, and yeah, that's not as likely. So yeah, I think that I agree. The goal here is to get Rosa's HP up to a tenable amount to just be able to stomach pretty much all the big bangs. Throw the adamant on Rosa, because by the time Rosa gets to HP, their Edge and Cecil should be just fine, and go from there.
Meanwhile, here we go. Harump entering the Zeromus fight as well here. No one on our restream is done. Jeebus is in pretty good shape here, but Harump, in spite of all those extra checks, has the adamant armor, has the very high leveled Rosa, has a lot of options at his disposal here. Meanwhile, looks like we're back to mano a mano, Cecil v Pig.
Well, there's a shake. We kind of need a phase switch right now. Oh, hey, okay. And he dodged the first one. This might be it.
Yeah, getting even one Meteor dodge will make a huge difference here. Swinging for 4,000 a pop, you're gonna get the kill in 3 swings or fewer. And that's it. Jeebus is our first restream runner to finish with a 142.13. GG's out in chat, and we'll see if he would like to be interviewed in just a couple minutes, y'all.
Alright, so let's see if Harumph can sneak into second place here as far as our restream finishers go. Has 2200 HP on the rocket, so should be in pretty safe position here. Is gonna try. Looks like he's going to try to just get some kind of reflective spells off of Rydia. I've seen strategies, maybe not so much now, but at least back in the day again. To just actually have Rydia kamikaze just to make her heal that much more effective.
Hey, yeah, I can see that happening. 2,000 Rydia ain't nothing to scoff at on a virus cast, though. That'll definitely help.
Yeah, and she'll get at least one more cast, possibly two. So yeah, and is that Tella getting into the damage dealing act as well? Oh, he's going to be throwing in some holy spells. All right, so is hoping to get a little more offense here. With RA1, you can generally get a right cast and a cure 4 off, but RA2 those might not be fast enough. So I think it's still okay.
Yep. GPS, pardon me, Gundam Pilot Spaz has come in 6th place overall with a 143.49. Eking it out over Harumph, who it's not done yet, but things are looking very smooth. I shouldn't jinx it. I think Harumph's in fantastic shape here. He's got Rosa Bay. What's not to like?
You had to curse it like that. I hope it's gonna be. Okay, gets the cure 4 off. That was the main concern there. So, Rydia, unfortunately, her time in this fight may end, but should still be in pretty good shape for Edge, Special, and Rosa.
We have been given word that Jeebus will not be joining us for an interview, but will be going and getting us the Twin Harp tunes. So, no natural Twin Harp in the race, but here's one wonderful addition to the game in 4.0. After you beat Zeromus, your SRAM sets a flag, and you can go talk to Edward in the bedward and get your Twin Harp music regardless. So I think we're gonna chill on comms for a bit, keep your eyes close on Harumph and Tybalt screen, and enjoy that Twin Harp music. Shrew in the chat with the clever turn of phrase here. Fighting the big pig. It's no Ganondorf, but it's all bacon when you break it down. And Harumph has finished the race in 8th place with a 146.38. We'll see if Harumph wants to join us for an interview presently.
Harumph did not need silver arrows. Was able to get that pig down, no problem whatsoever. Really nicely done, and yeah, was only 4 minutes away from sneaking in as the first restream runner. So really impressive job. Tybalt's fight looks to be going much smoother, having obtained 20 RA2 on Zeromus. So looks to be just kind of waiting it out a little bit. Has everybody relevant in the party already healed, so it's just going to wait for the Big Bang cast to avoid the combo platter that can be sometimes rather annoying in this particular fight. And yeah, this seems to be going pretty well. It looks like we are. Let me make sure I'm not being silly. We are joined by Harum. Congratulations on your finish, GG's.
Thank you.
So, having to get to experience the unfettered joy that is an early crystal, what's going through your head after you pick that up?
The crystal, I wasn't so much terribly worried about it at first here, because yeah, with the crystal here, you still need to find a way to get to Zeromus. So it's like, all right, so I need a pass or a darkness crystal now. I'm wondering what was that Sheila one here, because it seemed like based on here, that seemed like quite the rabbit hole that I didn't even touch.
Funny you should mention that. 3 of our runners actually also skipped Sheila 1. Asuka did give us the check, and it had the pass.
Oh.
So,
all right,
yeah.
The way around then.
Did you feel like after not having checked Sheila 1 after X amount of time that you just kind of decided, well, I'm just going to put it off till the end?
I kind of felt behind. Or I'm not. Maybe I touched a few more checks here, and I ran into a few hiccups along the way here. Like the first attempt at Luke here didn't kind of went off the rails here, and made a few stabs here at the chance the lunar spot here at Leviathan. At that point, it's like, all right, normally here you check your freebies, but it's like I need to take some risks here, so maybe avoid the freebies, and maybe that was the way to go here, and apparently was the opposite of what I thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you still handled it really, really well. Did pick up that Rosa, which ended up being a huge help. What was your plan as far as like once you did get the Darkness Crystal? Did you have any like special plans for the Z fight, or like what was your thought process there?
Well, strangely enough, here when I went, I figured I'd do a siren grind here, get level Cecil here to 42 agility with the adamant armor, then knock him down, and then get at least Rosa to white. I wasn't too worried about getting ridiculously just going kind of hybrid strats at that point. And I'm not sure if you noticed here, but I thought I didn't save after the Baron Guard fight here. Because when I reset out here, I went straight to Vorpagoi, I went to equip the Zeus gauntlet that I got from there. Like, wait, I can't find it. It turns out it was at the very top of the list, and I never saw it. So like so when I saw that starting to sign right, I was like, oh, all right, this right. Yeah, at this point there, I definitely don't need to worry about Nuke at this point here, just because, yeah, I might see I might see a second Big Bang. It turns out I did, but I should be able to get enough damage to get through Z here with Edge, Teasel, and White.
Yeah, thanks, Scal Cecil. As the kids say, go Burr. Well, that's pretty much all I got. Ben, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, you got it all covered there. GG's again. Definitely got a little rabbit hole there, but you made the best of it, and GG's again on the finish.
Thank you. Of course, thank you to the comps here, Venable and Flurry, Twisted Flax with the buttons, and Charlotte doing the research, putting everything together here to make it all nice and pretty tonight.
Well, thank you very much for putting on the show, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you in future races.
Thank you.
So it looks like we also have a finish from Tybalt. Does finish in 9th place with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, 2 seconds. And I believe that is Tybalt who has joined us in chat. Yep. Well, congratulations, my friend. GG.
GG.
And Tybalt is illustrating a very important thing. After you have beaten Zeromus, though, you do need to wait for the solar system to appear, or else the harp will just taunt you mercilessly with its algae-covered... Ugh, what's on this thing? GG's, Tybalt.
Oh, thank you, GG's. So I want to say a little something. So with the race being today of being commentator's curse, I feel that there might be a little bit of commentary curse from Invenerable coming towards me, because twice in this race my controller died on me.
Oh no!
Oh.
Yeah, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
And it happened the last time that you were on comms.
Okay, do you need me to refer you to controller manufacturers? Do you need?
No, it's just a battery issue. That's what it was.
No, I'm sneaking into your place at night before I do commentary, and I'm just leaving your controller running all night long. I'm just, randomly mashing buttons, and then I just sneak out again, and I'm just like, ha 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 ha, good luck if you get restreamed, Tybalt. I'm a very, very, I've got some time on my hands. Have you happened to glance at race spoilers and learned what awaited you at the spurned Sheila 1?
No, I didn't see. Was it Sheila 1? Was it the Crystal Sword?
It was the pass. So all the darkness shenanigans were a little superfluous. But what were you thinking for your grind options? Because we saw you had basically every option in the game you could have wanted was available to you. What made you choose the route you did, and walk us through that process, and how you had to juggle things a little bit, because you had to get Zeromus on the rebound. How did that all tie together to wrap up your save?
So after I got Darkness, I knew when I got Underground, okay, I got 5 characters. Ooh, Rosa, cool. And then I get Darkness. I'm like, do I D-Machine or Gold Dragon? Well, let's see. I have an Adamant Rosa. She doesn't need too much HP to survive. I could probably do Gold Dragons faster than a D-Machine with my skills, so I'm just going to go with the Gold Dragons because I know that's more of a guaranteed way that I can get experience fast. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough HP on Rosa to survive the salvos of Big Bangs that were coming out, even with the Adamant Armor, which kind of hurt a little bit. And then knowing that, she's a 1500, I may have saw maybe 1 2K, and that was all high rolls. If I can go back and get her a few more levels to have, 1800, she'll be able to survive no problem with the extra magic stats that she gets when she's higher level.
So I gotta ask. I gotta ask. How about that Ogo at King Queen Eblina?
That Ogo. Yeah, that's a hard fight. The ones doing Fubul and getting the Excal from there, and I'm like, all right, cool. I have a little bit better of a chance. I had thought about checking the Baron basement if I wasn't able to get through it to see if that had underground access.
I hadn't seen. Did you end up picking up a curse string from a shop?
Yes, curse strings were in Mysidia, and that's what allowed me to lower Cecil's agility to be able to get through the Ogo Pogo fight.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, that fight. I think we heard from Harung feeling that he was behind after the underground, which we had noted on comms may have led to the runners spurning Sheila 1. But that's one of those fights that you never feel ahead after taking on Ogo there, right?
No, you never do unless you get through it first chance. You're like half an hour. Anything beyond 45 minutes getting through the hook route, you're gonna feel behind. And an hour getting underground, you feel behind at that point. Ogo Pogo makes you feel less behind, but you still feel behind. And then, of course, seeing the crystal at Mount Ordeals, you're thinking, nobody likes doing ordeals early on. Granted, you have a Tella Cecil start. Are they going to go to ordeals to get Tella spells and the Paladin, or not, is the question.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think the hook route kind of dictated that people were more likely going to check ordeals than not.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question for you would be your grind as far as your level plan when it came to going into the Z fight the first time. Was there a particular target you were looking for, or you just want to get in there as soon as you could?
I just wanted to get Rosa with Cure 4 and then go in. And I got the Cure 4. I'm like, that should be enough, and that's what I'm going to hope for. But 1500 HP is not enough for Rosa.
Yeah, I think what might have caught you there was vanilla agility being on,
Yeah.
and Cecil being like just below 28. Might have been a little bit hindered there, but yeah, like you recovered perfectly fine and took it down nice and easy peasy the next time. So yeah, nicely done. That's pretty much all I got.
Though I will say the last fight that I actually got through, I whiffed the Silk Web.
Yeah.
Didn't even need it.
No, because I just did a slow cast with Rosa and then reflected the slow with Tella. So
There you
it works. Same thing.
Well, GG's again. Let you give your final thoughts on the seed if you have any before we get into this last Restreams Aromas fight. Last word, Tibble. Got anything for us before the weekend?
No, everybody, I hope you all have a great weekend. And again, thanks for commentating both Flurry and Invenerable. You guys really make the show happen. Scala with the restream and Twisted Flax with the tracking. As always, the show would just be 4 racers and nobody knowing anything about it without you people.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
No problem. And have a good one.
All right, so it looks like we have Asuka taking on the Z fight here. Didn't get a chance to. Levels look pretty solid here.
Yeah, we see a Cecil with nearly 3,500 HP, Edge at 27, Rosa just shy of 2,500. We've got the good levels. The main concern here, of course, is vanilla agility anchoring. That will be the only thing that could possibly throw her off here. But sometimes I think the levels in the adamant armor, you can say, heck the agility, I don't care, we're just going to tear through anyway. So we'll see how it plays out here.
Yeah, I'd want to see where if the adamant is on Rosa, I think this fight is far less volatile than if the adamant is on Cecil, which you'll see out of a lot of runners because they just want to pump out the damage as fast as they can. And those big numbers, it's hard to turn them down sometimes. But I think adamant on Rosa makes this fight with 2,400 HP relatively safe.
So you're saying turn down for what? Is what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Zeromus is not sorry for party rocking as Big Bang comes out right now and looks not to be nerfed. Let's see how much.
No, that's nerfed.
I'm silly. And yeah, only 800 damage. No big deal right here. You should see a Cure out of Rosa. And the hit train keeps on coming.
Well, actually, already had a holy queued up, so going for the deeps right now.
That's right, yeah, we saw this out of Harumph, who was able to get a cast of Holy in there and then immediately proceed into a Cure 4. Could decide to just go Power Overwhelming for a little bit if you feel a phase push is coming with, given this amount of damage could entirely happen, but safety first may also be in order.
Here comes a Cure 4 from Tella, which, will help get this Cecil and this Rosa to a safer range, you know. Rydia, hard-pressed to keep her HP totaled up. And always remember, a single target Cure 4, even on like a curse string character, will do a full heal. So that's also always an option. We got Cure 3 potions, lots of things going on here. Got the Zerkers, we got the reflected nukes. Asuka is looking just fine here. Should not have a problem making bacon in due time.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten the phase push already. Might have already gotten it. If not, then it's got to be coming up really soon. Yeah, looks to be going. I mean, anytime Cecil is putting out near 5,000 damage, always feels good.
Oh, Scala trying to get me to sing even more. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes. I take some bacon and I put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. There we go.
I'm not familiar with the song, but I will not turn down neither bacon nor pancakes.
I think it's from Adventure Time. Pretty sure.
So looks like Asuka did attempt a nerf at the Big Bang, but was right at the phase push there, so didn't actually, or got a counter nuke, but haven't seen the Big Bang. So that gives Tella more time to cast a Cure 4, which is fantastic for this party's outlook, as that'll put Rose at right around 23-35. Probably only need to survive one more Big Bang, maybe two.
We have a 12th place finisher, by the way. Commander Leonhard has come in 12th with a 2:04.07. Narrowly sniping our 4th place restreamer. Again, I gotta stop saying it until people are done. I'm not trying to curse anyone. I just have faith. That's it. It's not commentator's curse. It's I have faith in the runners. I believe this is going to be, you know, nice and smooth and easy the rest of the way through the fight. I'm not saying, oh, how it could possibly go wrong. But, you know, sometimes things can go wrong. But that was a nasty Big Bang. This holy should whiff. I believe the Star Veil was on Rydia. Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, that was definitely a case where the phase push happening where it did and getting that extra Cure 4 in from Tella essentially saved Rose's life here. That extra HP is what got her through, and now can throw Cure 4 in. With only 3 party members, I would imagine this probably gets the team back up to full.
Oh yeah. Of course, that black hole will have ended the Zerking, but I'm not sure if Asuka has Bacchus Wines. I mean, even normal attacks will continue to do some work here until you get a chance to do a Zerk. But hopefully there's still some wine in the tank here when a turn comes back around. But that's rocks falling right there.
Yeah, if you dart something, this would be the time to do it.
Rosa and Cecil both just dodging. Like, whatever. You can't hit me with a rock.
Adamants are pretty good, y'all. Are we going for the swag holy cast? I like it.
Well, more rocks are falling. Don't get too ahead of yourself here. That time it was the inverse. That's cute. With the dodges.
Now Zeromus does not. Oh no, Zeromus is reflected.
I'm not sure when I bet Rydia popped a Star Veil at some point before the first one had expired. But that's fine. We still have these two strapping young lads with all their swords to slice up that King Pig. Asuka's finished in 13th with a 2:06.31. GG's out in chat, and we'll see if she wants to come in for an interview in a moment.
I still consider that a swag holy cast. It was the swag of a different variety. And hey, anytime you finish a hook series with Ogo Pogo at King Queen Evelyn.
With Topo Gijo, with
You done did good. This flag set was like, when it first came out, was generally considered to be like one of the tougher flag sets that we had seen in like quite some time, and this definitely stymied many a runner in both pickup races and the actual tournament. So our runners demonstrating high amounts of skill, getting this done, is really nice to see.
yeah, because you can have any number of rude bosses on hook routes like that. We were very fortunate to have the edge early on to help the team out. Of course, the Cecil causing vanilla agility to activate made things even trickier on that front. But it's very easy to see how that C5, or well, the distinct 5
Yeah.
that we had going on tonight can just really throw you for a loop. But we are joined by Oscar424. Oscar, GG's.
Hey.
I would like to thank you first and foremost. I think I spent probably an hour of that seed yelling at people to make the Sheila 1 check, and they just wouldn't do it.
Well, I don't know. It's freebies. And
I know. And
Right?
we're sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, if the pass is there, and we couldn't even rely upon the spoiler log, because of course the pass doesn't show in the post-game spoiler log. So we thank you, chat thanks you. We really needed that closure on what Sheila had waiting for us. So that alone, thank you.
Wait, did anybody else get the pass?
No.
No.
That's it.
Okay.
Completely shocked, just as you are. Flurry, what questions do you have? I'm so thankful to have that curiosity saved.
I guess the one yes, Ogo Pogo there is a rude dude. I gotta ask, what was going through your head when you did get the pass and you're sitting at level 37? What was your thought process there?
It honestly just, I had my 5th character. I was terrified up until I found Rosa. I was like, okay, I have a white mage, yay, because as much as I love Edward, I hate Rydia, and I don't really know how to use her. So I was glad I had a character that I'm comfortable with. And then it was just, okay, now I just D-machine. But oh wait, I have 2 more sirens. Let me use those first. That's all. And then yeah, it took me 2 tries, but I found my D-machine, and yeah. Then I flew to the pass.
Nice. Yeah, no, they handled that really, really well. Like that was one of those seeds that had the potential of giving you that. Like when you get that crystal early, like, well, I could be in go mode in 2 minutes. I could be in go mode in 2 hours. Depends on where this darkness crystal tends to be, and you handled it really, really good. That was a tricky seed with a tricky hook route, and your shopping definitely paid off picking up the first ring. I think you were the first runner on Restream to pick that up.
Oh, yeah, no, I know I can't beat anybody on skill alone, so I need items to help me out. So I just shopped, and I was like, oh, I think there was a few shops where I had to stop and go, is that what I found? Oh, okay, curse ring. Oh, Sylph. Heck. Okay.
And don't sell yourself short. We were just saying how this particular flag set was considered at the time to be like one of the hardest flag sets we had seen, with so many difficult possible scenarios, and y'all experienced them, and y'all came out on the other side of the Z fight with a finish. So like just getting through the seed is really impressive. This was meant for the best of the best, and you got through it.
I didn't really look at the flags or know what the flags were until I found out I was being restreamed.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, because I didn't even know this existed back when these flags were a thing. So yeah.
Well, pretty much all I got. Inven, do you have any other questions before we start to wrap it up?
Oh, no, just GG's again. Oscar will give you the last thoughts that you have on the seed before we close things out. Any last words you really want to talk about? Anything that you thought was interesting, anything that surprised you?
What surprised me was I did Ogopogo. That surprised me. A lot of those bosses surprised me that I was able to actually do them. I know I took it super safe and super slow, but it worked, and I survived my probably first and only restream. So yay! But yeah, thanks to Inven and Flurry for your commentating, and my apologies to yourselves and chat for my super slow play. Love to Twisted Flax, who pushes all the buttons that Possum likes to eat, and to Scala for being everybody's night mom. And we love all of them dearly. And as much as I always am a member of Team Yeet Rydia, the new hug emote's adorable. So I guess I won't eat that Rydia in particular.
Well, awesome. Thank you very much. Again, don't sell yourself short. You got through a very difficult seed, and you did it super well. And be proud of the finish you had here, because this was a tough one.
Thanks.
And yeah, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. We do have our next restreamed race will be the Enterprise Legacy race. I believe that is at 5 o'clock Pacific. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that has been one of the biggest things going, and I highly recommend everybody race or check it out on here. We do these community races every Monday and Friday. So if you like what you see, feel free to check this out. And yeah, Inven, it has been a pleasure, my friend.
Oh yeah, fun as always, Slurry. Good to work with you. In the meantime, I apologize. I'm fading fast. It's late. Did you mention where we are headed for the duration of the evening? You just talked about our
Not
next
yet.
freedom race. Okay, gotcha. Well, I got you covered. We are going to be sticking here on our Randomania partners. Going to head over to Randomania 1, where they are doing a charity stream called Tournaments of Hope, raising money for the Bale Project, and are currently featuring Dragon Warrior 1 Rando. So keep some randomizer action in your Friday night. If you've got a few bucks to spare for charity, it's a good cause. They're doing their best. And yeah, enjoy it. And we'll see y'all back tomorrow night, just like Flurry said, on the Free Enterprise channel for the Legacy race. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep, take care.